Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Joe Macaroni. Joe Macaroni explains it all. Well, in another video I mentioned that it was my birthday. And believe it or not, it still is my birthday. So with that in mind, I'm going to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of getting old. Okay? Not that I'm getting old, I already am old. So here goes. The pros and cons of getting old. Here's the pro, okay? The pro, meaning this is what can be. You gain wisdom through life. Sometimes you can pass it on. That's a pro of life, of getting old. Here's a con, and you wait and see, you young folk. You shrink in size. I have lost 2 inches so far. It's a funny feeling, but not in a good way. Here's a pro. You have great stories to tell if anyone would listen. Sometimes they do. Many times they don't. Here's a con, and if you're my age, you may know this already. You become very well acquainted with your own flatulence. Not so good. Here's another pro. You learn to laugh at your own mistakes. You laugh a lot. I laugh a lot because I make a lot of mistakes. Con, it gets harder to walk in a straight line. It gets harder to walk in a straight line. And you're not even drunk. I'm afraid if I ever get stopped on the road, I'm going to be in deep doo-doo. Here's a pro, and I like this one. You don't have to get up every morning and go to work. You can sleep in. And that's pretty nice. After all the years I worked, my years in the service, my years in school, getting up early every morning, it's nice to sleep in. Here's a con, unfortunately, for me especially. You spend half the day trying to remember what you forgot to remember. You spend half the day trying to remember what you forgot to remember. And that is very frustrating. Here's a good pro. You wake up in the morning. Thank God. Here's the con. You wake up in the morning and you are full of aches and pains. But you woke up. Thank God. Here's a pro. You passed your driver's test. Isn't that great? You passed your driver's test. Your license has been renewed. You're safe for a couple of more years. Here's the con. When you hit 70, you start to go downhill. By 80, you're well on your way. After that, frankly, it's a crapshoot. Pro. For what it's worth, you wind up being the head of a very large, multi-generational family, which is about where I am now. On a sad note, and a con, so many of your friends and families are no longer with us. That's sad. That's sad, and I remember that every day. You have a lot more time, a lot more time to do things like being on YouTube. The con is you still believe there are things you can accomplish, but you are running out of time. Joe Macaroni is going to keep going until he can't keep going. I hope to see you again. Thanks for listening. This is Joe Macaroni. Joe Macaroni explains it all.